Alright, Algebra 3ers, this is lesson 2. We're going to do a little more on area, cylinders and prisms, cones and pyramids, and spheres. So there are a ton of formulas that you probably should memorize. So we have volume of a sphere, which is 4/3 pi r cubed. We have surface area of a sphere, which is 4 pi r squared. We have volume of a cylinder or a prism that you've known for a long time, just area of the base times the height. We have the surface area formula you're familiar with, and you probably remember the lateral surface area formula as well. Then we've got the volume of a cone, which is 1/3, or a pyramid, the area of the base times the height. And then we have these two that you probably don't remember because you haven't seen a lot of them. The surface area of a cone or a pyramid is the same initial formula, if you use this formula, which is area of the base plus perimeter of the base times L divided by 2. So if you're doing a cone, the base is a circle. And so the area of the base is actually pi r squared. And the perimeter of the base is actually 2 pi r. And then L is always the slant height, which would be the distance from here to here on the cone. Okay, pyramid's the same thing except for the base might be a triangle or a square or a rectangle. So you'll have to figure out area of the base and perimeter of the base. Alright, so let's try a couple problems. So the base of a regular pyramid is a square. So we might want to draw a picture here. So we have a square base, meets at a point, like that, with each side measuring 4 centimeters. So each of the square sides is 4. The slant height of the pyramid is 5. Find the surface area. So the surface area for either a pyramid or a cone is this formula right here that we just talked about. And so surface area is equal to, whoops, that was backwards. So surface area is equal to area of the base, which would be this square, 4 times 4, so that's 16. Okay. Perimeter of the base would be the distance all the way around, so that's still 16. And they're giving us the slant height here, which is 5 divided by 2. So the surface area is equal to 16 plus, we could cross cancel that, 8 times 5 is 40, so we get 56. And surface area is still just area, so centimeters squared. Okay, find the surface area of a sphere whose volume is 288 pi. So first thing we need is the formula. You always start with the formula. So surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. Okay. And then they're giving us the volume. So we also need the volume formula of a sphere. So 4/3 pi r cubed. All right, well, if we start with what they're giving us, they're actually giving us the answer to the volume. So we can plug that in on this side of the formula. Okay, if everything's being multiplied together here, we can cancel the pi's. You can divide it out. And so now I just have 288 equals 4/3 r cubed. So I want to get rid of this fraction here. We can multiply by the reciprocal, which is 3/4 and 3/4. All right, so 3/4 times 288 is 216 is equal to r cubed. So then we need to know what number multiplied 3 times is equal to 216, or your calculator could do the cube root of both sides, and the cube root of 216 is 6. Now that we know the radius, we can find the surface area, which was our initial goal here. So come back over to this formula. We have 4 pi, and we're going to replace the r with 6. Exponents always go first, so make sure you do 6 squared. And then we can multiply that out on our calculator, and we get 452.389. This is surface area. I think we're in centimeters, yep. So centimeters squared. And now let's find the volume and surface area of a sphere with a radius of 7. So volume of a sphere and surface area of a sphere. So same formulas that we just did. So as you can tell, you're definitely going to want to memorize these. Okay, this one's really easy. We're just going to plug in 7. And you guys can figure those out on your calculator. Make sure you do units correct. This one would be centimeters cubed for volume, and this one would be centimeters squared for surface area. All right, let's try one from the homework. So the figure below shows the base of a right cylinder that is 9 centimeters high. So the distance here would be 9. Find the volume of the right cylinder in cubic centimeters. Find the surface area of the right cylinder in square centimeters. Find the volume of a cone in cubic centimeters with the same height and base. Dimensions are in centimeters. So this has a lot of different things that we need to find. So let's find first the volume of the right cylinder. So that would be this one here, and we want the volume, which is equal to area of the base times the height. Now this area of the base has 3 pieces here, so I'm going to plug in, we have a half of a circle, so pi r squared divided by 2. We have a rectangle here, so that's base times height. And then we have another half circle for that little one, and so I'm going to do another pi r squared divided by 2 times the height. Alright, so let's plug that in. So I have pi. So we need, let's see, looks like we've got a radius of 10 for the bigger half circle. And in the middle here we have base times height. This is 10 times 11, so we could do that in our heads. That's 110. And the little circle we have pi 5 squared over 2. And then 9 would be the height of the whole thing. Alright, so let's see if we can simplify this at all. This is 100 pi over 2. 100 pi over 2 plus 110 plus 25 pi over 2. So I'm going to go ahead and add these together. We have like terms, and they're both divisible by 2, so that's actually 125 pi over 2 plus 110, and then times 9. And let's figure out what that is on the calculator. And we get 2,757.146. Alright, we were finding volume, so this would be centimeters cubed. Okay, so there's volume. Now we have to find surface area of the same thing. So surface area is equal to twice the area of the base plus the perimeter of the base times the height. Alright, we just found the area of the base. So the area of the base was this entire piece right here, which simplified to 125 pi over 2 plus 110. So I'm going to plug that in. Okay, and then we need to find the perimeter of the base. So we've got 10 here. I'm going to do this up here so I can find it. Plus, now we have this half circle. So half of a perimeter is 2 pi r divided by 2. So there's the half circle. And then from here to here is 11. And then we have another half circle, which is 2 pi r, this time 5 divided by 2. And then plus another 11. So let's see, these two can cancel. So that gives me 10 pi plus 5 pi. So this plus this, 10 pi and 5 pi is 15 pi. And then I'm adding 10, 11, and 11. So that's 22 plus 10 is 32. So I'm going to put that down here because I'm running out of room. So 15 pi plus 32, and then times the height, which is still 9, the height of that whole figure. Okay, we can simplify that and see what we get. All right, so after calculating that, I get 13,000, oh wait, just kidding, 1,324.814. All right, and my units. This time it's surface area. So what were we in? Centimeters. Yep. So centimeters squared. Okay, what if this is a cone? So now we have find the volume of the cone in cubic centimeters with the same height and base. So the height of this cone is 9. So the formula for area of a cone is the same thing except for we have a 1/3 in front. So this problem is actually very easy when we do the cone. Okay, so cone volume is 1/3 area of the base times the height. Well, we just found area of the base times the height. That was this number right here. So all we need to do is 1/3 of our previous answer. And you guys can figure that out, and it would be centimeters cubed. Not really.